musicians. Not many videos for week 2, but what I did want to do is speak about 2 of the songs that we're looking at, and also the importance of chord changes at this early stage. So this video might be a little bit longer than usual, so just pause it at the relevant points. So within the first few weeks, the real barrier that people generally find is getting through these chord changes. And in all honesty, being able to change between one chord to the other in a reasonably quick amount of time is probably the biggest challenge that you're going to face in the next 10 weeks. So the sooner you can do that, the sooner that this process is going to start feeling a little bit easier. Of course, we then need to focus on the rhythm hand and what that's doing, but that eventually comes quite naturally as well, and we've got quite a few sessions that are designed around working on that. So for now, we're looking at chord changes. One of the most effective ways of working out a chord change is just simply to do the chord change and do it over and over and over and over again. So if I was working on a G to an E minor, I would just go G, E minor, G, E minor, G, and just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and you do it up until the point where your hand starts feeling just a little bit tired, and then you stop. And when you come back to do that again, you should find it a lot easier. We looked this week at Love Me Tender, and we included in that a couple of new chords. So those chords were F sharp, B minor, D7. See if you can pause this and then just play those chords, see if you can remember them. Paused it, you're back with us, so I'll show you how we go. F sharp starts on this is a version of F sharp, by the way. Later on we'll learn the full F sharp, but this one will do for now. So we start on the 2nd string in the 2nd fret with the 1st finger, and then we're on the 3rd string in the 3rd fret with the 2nd finger, and then the 4th string in the 4th fret with the 3rd finger. And we just play those strings that we've got fingers on, so the 4th, 3rd and 2nd. From there we went to B minor, and this is quite an easy change because all we have to do is take this shape. Do you see how our fingers have formed a kind of diagonal line, and we just drop those down a string each, and that brings us to B minor, and again just from the 3rd string. From there we then go to D7. Best way I find to do this is take the 1st and 2nd fingers, so watch the 1st and 2nd fingers, slide them back and then lift them up a string. So they went from the 1st and 2nd, and then 1st and 2nd strings stayed on the 1st and 2nd strings, went back a fret, and then we lift them up a string, and then just add this 3rd finger down here on the 1st string in the 2nd fret. Strum from the 4th string. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go to G. I think. D7 to G, we're going to slide this finger up to the 3rd fret and keep these two in that formation and lift them up to the 6th and 5th strings. There we are. So this week perhaps you could focus on just doing that and just keep doing it, and then start working on that. For our more, that's not fair. If anybody feels like they want to be adventurous with this, you could try, and we'll focus on this hand now. So you could try picking the root note of the chord on the 1st beat, 1, and then strumming the chord on the 2nd beat. And then picking the root note on the 3rd beat again, and then strumming on the 4th. 1, 2, 3, 4. To identify the root note, you look for the lowest note in the chord. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. that's not mandatory. This definitely isn't mandatory, but this is just for anybody who wants to try this. We can take that chord progression up here, so the F sharp, B minor to D7, and we can shift it right down here. Now on the 12th fret, this here is an octave above the open strings. So if you put your finger on the 6th string, 12th fret, you're playing 1 octave above E, and it's the same across all 6 strings. So by that logic, the 13th fret is basically where the 1st fret starts again, but we've started 1 octave up. So you can play the F sharp, this time on the 14th fret. So you've got an F sharp but an octave higher now, drop to the B minor but with an octave higher, and then change to the D7 and just strum from the 3rd string on that one. That might sound quite nice in session next week if we have 1 or 2 people doing that, while we've got some other people doing, and then of course some other people doing the melody as well. Which brings me on to my next point. So we also looked at the melody, and I have sent out a slightly more complicated version of the melody, and you will notice on that page that on the tab at certain points there's 2 numbers that are stacked on top of each other, and that's just telling us to play those 2 strings at once. On the part where we have the notes on the 4th fret, so this is in the final bar of the 1st line, it is useful to actually just put the chord shape on that we would be playing if we were playing the rhythm. It's useful to do that, you don't have to do that, so just play around with that a little bit. And then we also looked at the Sam Smith song, and we advanced on that a little bit by adding in guitar part number 2. Now for guitar part number 2, we still follow the chord change, so we start off with, sorry, that's completely incorrect, we don't do that. We've got A minor, F major 7, C. So you've got A minor, F major 7, C. Notice how that first finger stays where it is all the way through that. A minor, F major 7, C. Now if you do that, hold the A minor for 2 beats, 1, 2, F major 7 for 2 beats, and then the C, and then pick through the strings that are highlighted on guitar part 2. All the notes that you need will already be there because of what you're doing with this hand. I hope that makes sense. I know it sounds a little bit more complicated than it is, but see how you get on with it. Enjoy your practice. Normally there'd be more videos than this, but really our focus is just on those chord changes, and if you do get those chord changes, just try and be a bit creative with what you're doing with this hand. Feel free to deviate away from those rhythms, but you don't have to. If you can come next week being able to change a couple of chords at a decent pace, so maybe 1 chord every 1.5 or 2 seconds, then you're doing very, very well and you should be proud of yourself. So enjoy your practice this week, and I will see you next Sunday.